stage. No pitfall like a year ago. And Canada ends 2024 with some fireworks. The first 3-goal game under Marsh's watch. Final score from BMO Field in Toronto is Canada 3, Suriname 0.
A decisive victory for the Canadians, and there's the man who gets his first brace for country, Jacob Shaffelburg, right there in the middle of a jersey exchange. 3-0 the final for Canada. Also the first time they have scored more than 2 goals in a match under Jesse Marsh. The Canadians are on their way to the Final Four of Concacaf Nations League to be played at the end of March. Welcome back to Matchday Live right here on OneSoccer. Andy Petrillo, Jordan Wilson, and John Conway. How did you feel about that match now, considering we broke down and dissected leg 1? We weren't too happy with that, a little disjointed, Jordan. At the end of the day, they got the 1-0 victory, but they took care of business here at home.
They absolutely did, and I feel as good as how great those trumpets sounded. Man, John Conway, were they just bowing and going and driving out. This is a great day.
Look at that face, though. Can we just take a moment to look at Kamal Miller's face, who took a beating tonight? Also got his first start under Marsh.
Took a beating. There's a lot to like. We're going to dive into all of it, but for me, this is a team that has just been on the same wavelength, press and run and want it more, and now they're on to the next round.
Yeah, convincing performance tonight all around, front to back. They did a great job. Attacking-wise, they put the ball in the back of the net, did what they needed to do at home, and move on. 4-0 on aggregate. Again, nothing more than convincing for me.
There's the trumpets you're talking about. I don't think I've ever seen them in a game before.
I loved it.
And I don't know, like, John, did they ever let them in during a TFC game? I don't remember hearing trumpets.
I don't remember having instruments other than the drums coming in, but that's about it.
It was a bit cold in here, but the trumpets are playing, and it's just...
You're feeling it.
You get good vibes a little bit, John, you know?
They did feel good. You know who else felt good? Jonathan David. So he gets his 31st goal. He now has first sole possession top spot when it comes to the leading goal scorer on the men's side. And he's also somebody like right near the end there too, Jordan. We saw him make that nifty pass to Tajon Buchanan. The guy can score, and the guy has incredible vision out on the pitch, just picking those little pathways, those little seams to set up his teammates too.
Yeah, good players see him, like they see the game 1 play ahead. Great, see 2. He sees it in 2. Like, he waited for the defender, the player you're talking about, to open the legs, puts it through, gives a nutmeg. Tajon Buchanan, if his toenails were a bit longer, that's in the back of the net. He's putting it in there for 4-0. But we can go on and on about Jonathan David. What a joy he is to have. But for me, the striker right now in the world that is in the best form.
Yeah, I mean, the performance he put in tonight, the combination play between him and Larin, he was all over the place, getting the ball out wide, coming back into the midfield, receiving it was back to goal, laying the ball off, setting people off for passes, which you mentioned about Tajon Buchanan. He's just doing everything for this team, and it's a joy to watch.
Let's take a look at that goal, because it also came from a Canadian team that fought to keep possession off of a corner kick where, John, things got just, you know, a little chaotic.
Extremely chaotic. Suriname just loses players as this ball's bouncing around. Jonathan David wide open on the back stick, and this is the easiest goal ever. I mean, he's 6 yards from the goal and just taps it home. Ball ping-pongs around and just lands on his foot, but Suriname has to be better defending, and they're not. And he is just so clear as daylight, just standing there right in front of the goal, wide open.
And stays onside.
Yeah, good players get free. That's just what it is, right? And then it slows down for him in front of the box. He's not going to miss 6 yards out. What I love about is Canada's using their size. You have Moise Bombito in the box. Kyle Larin was involved. Miller was involved. You have Chouanier coming with the service. But this is an area I've been talking about for years for Canada, is that they have big boys that are good in the air. Get a great ball in. Get some chaos, especially when you're going to play the Americans and Mexicans. This is an area you got to capitalize on.
Well, that was one thing when John Herdman was still the head coach of the team. He said he loved Steven Vittoria because of his size, and he wanted players to play to their size as well. And I think in that particular play, we saw that. But a man who maybe played bigger than he actually is tonight is our Gatorade performance of the match, Jacob Shaffelburg, getting his first brace for country. And I go back to the pregame show, John, where you just wanted to see, you know, a little bit more from Shaffelburg as far as, yes, he has speed, maybe some crosses being a little bit more clinical, some decision making, and he just showed that tonight.
Yeah, pretty direct ball and ball over the top. There's only one run, and the goalkeeper's just pinned back too far. Shaffelburg uses his pace, which he does very well, and he did all night. And combined in the first 2 goals, maybe a combined, what, 7 yards from the goal on both of them between Jonathan Davids and now Jacob Shaffelburg's. But listen, Schaff uses his pace so well. He creates so much havoc for teams, whether it's on the left-hand side. In this case, they shifted and moved guys around, and now he's in the middle of the field, and he's the lone striker, and ball over the top, and just punishes Suriname.
I love when wingers come in and join the play and sometimes take that 9 position, because you can have a moment like this where you're playing on the wing, but you come in where the action is. And here for me, Larin, his movement, just to come out and dump it. And this ball played across.
Stop it. Just stop it with
Sublime.
that ball. Fantastic. I mean, he puts it, we talked about this with Jacob Shaffelburg at the beginning of the game, that gap between the goalkeeper and the back line. It's impossible to defend. Suriname can't defend it. The goalkeeper can't come out. And it's right there on the doorstep, and Jacob Shaffelburg just has to be clinical and put it in the back of the net. But that ball is fantastic from Kyle Larin. Picks his head up and just rips it through that gap on the deck. Unbelievable goal. Unbelievable run to the back stick from Jacob Shaffelburg, who's wide open. And for me, just his performance tonight, on the ball, off the ball, defending, you know, making runs selfishly, connecting with Richie Larin on the left-hand side, just all around great performance.
And that's a goal that Jesse Marsh will love, because they won the ball high.
Yep.
Larin is in the middle, but most number 9s, we talked about, you mentioned it off air, most number 9s stay in the position that David was in. Say, give me the ball. But he's selfless. He goes out to the wing, does the dirty work, whips the ball across, and the poor defender, he's like, do I go with David? Do I stay with Shaffelburg? He was done either way. He decides to go with David. The ball comes across. That's a tap-in for Shaffelburg. That's one where Canada will build on, because they win the ball high, break forward quickly. The ball's in the back of the net.
Great game for him. Let's hear from him.
Jacob, a magnificent night for you and the team. What are your emotions after that one?
Super happy. We knew it was going to be a tough game. Certainly a big change in weather from the first game in Suriname, so just taking all that into account. We just need to come out here and finish our chances, and I thought we did that really well. So super happy.
2 goals for yourself as well. How good does it feel to be able to get some goals and contribute?
It feels amazing. Anytime you can score, it feels great, but ultimately I'm super happy for the team. It's just such a great way to end off 2024.
And the final one, you get to go to the Nations League now. Is it time for Canada to try and win a trophy?
Yeah, of course. It's always time for us to win, so we're excited.
Thanks, Jacob. Congrats.
Thank you. Take care. See you.
How different this team looks with Jacob Shaffelburg in it, how different this team's going to look now going to the Final Four with him as a starter, being able to wreak that havoc.
He looks like a kid in a candy store.
Little teddy bear,
I mean,
man.
he's just bubbling, he's pumped, he's smiling. I mean, I would be too. I scored 2 goals, but man, he is just feeling good.
He is. New dad and everything too. Clearly he's getting enough sleep. He's feeling good. So he's got a good baby at home. How about Kamal Miller? This is somebody who gets his first start under Jesse Marsh, and he threw his body. Like literally, I'm not speaking figuratively here. He threw his body around, and he has the bandages to prove it, Jordan.
Yeah, no, there's some MMA stats for him for sure tonight. Needed a head, all that stuff. All jokes aside, like, you saw a guy that really wanted to commit, and it's just a joy to see him back. Look, he was a mainstay. He didn't get subbed off at all through the 3 games in Qatar, right? If someone asked in 2024 who would be playing in the back, I think most people would be like, Kamal Miller's a shoo-in. But for me, John, today was the base. There's more for him. He can build on that. But a player that hasn't started in a while needed that performance to really settle himself. I thought today was a good start.
By the way, that was 3 minutes into the game when he got kicked in the knee.
I mean, it's a hard performance, right?
Oh, and then he got kneed in the head.
Knee in the head, bleeding.
The blood was running.
Oh,
that's going to sting.
and that gushed real good. But he stayed in. Stitch me up, put me back in, coach.
I mean, that's what it's all about, man. He's fighting for his job. He wants to be a part of this team. He wants to be starting on this team. He's getting an opportunity tonight, and nothing's going to take him out of this game. And he's taking a beating. He's trying to get involved in every play, winning balls, going up with his head that's already got a huge gash in it. And unfortunately, I mean, they had to eventually bring him out of the game, but man, he put an effort in tonight.
You know what? I blame Andy Petrillo, because pregame you mentioned hockey and all that stuff. You already brought that up. You put a little hex on Kamal, and all of a sudden the homeboy starts bleeding.
Kamal answered the call. He's like, oh, did you do a hockey reference? I'll show you what we're all about. And he was out there.
I'm surprised if he has all his teeth because of you. Right? Probably lost,
No.
Probably lost to 7 and 8.
That's something they don't do. Like, hockey players can lose their teeth. Soccer players are like, you are not touching this whatsoever. Let's take a look at our all-state save of the match. Dane St. Clair, a little bit busier in this game than he was in leg one. So 44th minute, he did have to come up with a big save here. Perhaps, you know, couple, especially in that first half, we did see some miscues by Canada, but they were able to quickly recover. And you know what, John? And I'm sure you'll appreciate this, right? Goalkeepers collect paychecks too. They got to do their job.
Yeah, he did his job tonight. Obviously, in this instant, he's set to deal with this ball. The ball's moving all over the place, but what I like about it is he's not moving. He's stuck on top of his box, feet are set, and just deals with it and just bats it down. You know, this is a game where, as a goalkeeper, you just need to be locked in and concentrated the whole time. You know, staying focused, knowing that you're not going to get a ton of action, which he didn't. But he was just locked in, able to communicate with his teammates, and that's what I would do if I was in goal in a match like this. Stay communicating, stay aggressive with my positioning, make sure everybody knows what I'm looking for in front of them, just to keep myself engaged the whole time. You know, I guess for me, the big thing is, if we're going to evaluate between Crépeau and Dane St. Clair, you know, there's moments in these games where I thought I wish to see a lot more of them, or an ability to make more decisions. So then you get a chance to evaluate him a bit more. Not a lot of work for him. So it's kind of like, oh, he didn't do anything wrong, but he didn't get a lot of work. So you don't get a full look at his body of work for going into the next camps. Obviously, it's going to be evaluated on, you know, your club and how you're doing there. I think it's so vital that you're doing well at the club level and be able to move into this. And in this case, Crépeau had to sit on the bench because at the club level, he hasn't played. I mean, the last time he played was for Canada here. So, I mean, it's an easy decision to put Dane St. Clair in. He's been in form. They've been in playoffs in Minnesota. And he didn't have a ton of work, but he did what he needed to do and keep a 0 on the board. Well,
after that, too, I mean, if we had played it a little furthermore, when he had stopped the ball, Richie comes in and clears it. Suriname ends up getting a corner kick. And you can right away, Dane goes out and has a word. Right, because he's like, I had that. Let's everyone calm down. It's all simmered down. It's going to be okay. So there was a little bit of communication, but you're right. When you take on a team, you know, and with Canada being defensively solid, not a lot of work for him. But when he was called upon, played well. As we take a look now at our full-time stats here between Canada and Suriname, the final score here being 3-0. So Canada beats Suriname 4-0 on aggregate after scoring 1 in the first leg. 12 shots. So once again, Canada busy here. 4 shots on target compared to Suriname's 1, and that was our all-state save of the match that we just showed you. And Canada right now can finish 1 or 2 in the seeding for the Final Four. We do have Honduras and Mexico that still have to play their game, and that will determine the seeding for Canada in the Final Four. But they put themselves in a pretty good position here, guys. They put themselves in the driver's seat to finish with that top seed. Pre-game show, we were talking about trying to avoid the Americans in that semifinal, and the Canadians have done their part, and the fans, when the rain came down, didn't care. Shirts were off. They stuck around for the win.
This ultimate mouth-watering moment is brought to you by the big, bold, ultimate taste of Ultimate Chicken Hot Dogs, only from Maple Lodge Farms.
Where are you? I want to run back to you. All I want to do is run back to you and make my dreams come true. The only thing I ever do is run right back to you.
When the stakes are high, only the TELUS 5G network delivers.
This is not just laundry. This is laundry that's one and done. This is the ultra-fast combo laundry machine that does both washing and drying cycles, so you can take a load off. This is cleaning large loads in about 2 hours. No more checking, no more forgetting. Profile is revolutionizing laundry, making any room the laundry room. This is GE Profile.
What makes a Burnbrae egg a Burnbrae egg? generations, we've put more goodness in, so you get a whole lot more out of every single delicious egg. A lot goes into a little at Burnbrae Farms.
Welcome back, Matchday Live right here on OneSoccer. The Americans will be moving on to the Final Four, defeating Jamaica 5-2 on aggregate. Canada getting the job done against Suriname 4-0 on aggregate. We're going to have, by the way, Mexico-Honduras. That game will go to it once we wrap up here. Panama defeating Costa Rica. So who's going to be the fourth team that will join USA, Panama, Canada in Inglewood, California at the end of March? 3-0 victory for the Canadians here tonight. Let's hear from Kyle Larin.
I'm with Kyle Larin after another big win for this team. How good do you play tonight?
Yeah, the team played very well. I think we started off strong, and we knew what to do when we came in the game. And from the beginning to the end, we were solid. We played well, and obviously they'll have their chances. But from full 90 minutes, we were there the whole game and didn't let up.
I want to ask you about that third goal and the role you played in it. Again, the selfless role going out wide. What did you see from your point of view?
No, I think we went off transition. I made my run, and my first thought, I knew they were there. And I know Shaffelburg's always running in behind, so I just put it as hard as I can across the goal, and we scored.
It says chase for trophy on the sidelines here. Now you go to chase that trophy. Is this team ready to win this?
Yeah, well, I mean, we're getting there. We're working every camp and step by step, and there's no limit where we can go. And 2024 was great. Next year will be even better.
Finally, Kyle, Jonathan gets 31. You're at 30. You still got that race right in there, right?
No, I'm happy for him, and when I score, he scores. I think it's a good relationship, and we just keep going. And I think we just complement each other on the pitch, and it's a great relationship we have, and we'll keep going into the new year.
Well played. We'll see you in California.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
I like how he says, we just know Shaffelburg just runs. Just keeps
He'll
running.
Be there.
I'll
He's
put the
like,
ball
I close
there.
my eyes.
Yeah. They're starting to really get to know each other, which is great. And as we do look ahead, and you heard KJ obviously say that, we'll see you in California in March. And already it's looking like the same four. Obviously, Honduras is going to try and upset things here against Mexico. But 2 years ago when Canada made the Final Four, it was Canada, Panama, USA, Mexico. Where is Canada now for you under Jesse Marsh, and where they are in the realm of CONCACAF?
I wouldn't want to play them. I wouldn't want to play Canada because they're suffocating teams. I understand Suriname, where they're ranked. I understand that Canada were favorites coming into this match, John. But the way that they're playing, the vibe that's there, I just want to see them in a big match. My issue last Nations League final was that there was no plan B. We know, everyone knows how Canada's going to play and how they're going to suffocate teams. But I want to see them do it against the best. The best for me being the U.S. Next round, whoever that's going to be, hopefully it's not them, and we have a final where it all comes to fruition and they can lay it down. But this team, I wouldn't want to play them. The energy, the vibe, they're always moving in the right direction. They're always trying to move forward. They're dangerous to play.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. I mean, you don't want to play them right now. They're moving in the right direction. Another positive step tonight under Jesse Marsh with this group. Continue to evolve and get better. Obviously, they're working with what he wants is the team to do, and to be able to be pressing, win balls back, and get forward quickly and get in the attack. You know, I couldn't agree that this team, you don't want to step against them. I do think they need to go against somebody like the U.S. in a big match. Wouldn't that be great in March to see those two in the final? For me at the moment, the two best teams in CONCACAF need to square off for the title, and if Canada can win a trophy at that time, what a boost that would be going into the summer and the Gold Cup, and then transitioning to the next couple years leading up to the World Cup. But, you know, first things first, let's keep everybody healthy. Let's keep everybody moving in the right direction, get the group back together, and get ready to go for a big, big, big spring.
Well, I think another reason why people have confidence, to your point about Plan B, is Jesse Marsh isn't afraid to change things up, whether it's a starting 11, again today putting Choinière over Kone, and he isn't afraid to make the substitutions when he needs to make them, if the game calls for it, and there does seem to be a little bit more depth. Jamie Knight-Labelle gets into the game here tonight, becomes the 7th player to make his debut under Marsh.
Well, that's a big thing. He's continuing to grow the player pool, and when you grow the player pool, you create competition, you create moments where you can put these guys in, and now it adds another element to what he has available at his disposal. And I think that's a big thing. He's continuing to find guys, pull guys in. You know, we talked about Sholajimo in the pregame. You know, I think it's big he was able to come in. He's going to continue to pull guys in to get the best group, to get the most competitive group, and get the best balance of guys that he can use to be aggressive, be on the front foot, be fast, use pace, create havoc, get turnovers, and go with the goal.
Well, and one of those changes that he also made for these 2 games in particular, putting Dane St. in net. Job done. Let's hear from the goalkeeper.
And with Dane St. you got everything you needed tonight. A win and a clean sheet. How good does it feel?
For sure. I think coming into the game, we knew that a clean sheet would get us through. Of course, we wanted to get the 3 points as well, but we knew coming into the game, clean sheet was going to be the priority, and to really put the team away early, I think, was nice.
How big of a camp was this for you, Dane? You get the starting nod, you get to play back-to-back games for just the second time for Canada. This must feel good.
Yeah, for sure. I know I've been in good form, and I want to kind of bring that into camp and continue it. And obviously, I'm going back to my club for playoffs now, but looking to take this into March as well.
I won't ask you about the next playoff. I want you to look a little bit further. I want you to look to March, where you go now for the Concacaf Nations League semi-finals. Is this team ready to win?
For sure. I think we want to be playing for trophies and competing for trophies. And we said 2024 was a good year for us, but we still haven't won that trophy yet. And I think 2025 is something that we're going to be looking to go and do.
And a great way to finish in front of your home fans, I'm sure.
For sure. Definitely. I mean, my first time actually playing in Toronto, so to have a lot of friends and family in the crowd tonight was really special.
Special day for you. Congrats.
Thank you very much.
Well, how about that? Another first, getting to play for the first time here in Toronto, family, friends. And again, that's part of the conversation of progression under Jesse Marsh. And I'll admit, I'll put my hand up. Maybe I was one of those that panicked a little bit. Like when Jesse Marsh took over and the team wasn't scoring, and he said, patience, I need to have them figure out a new formation. They're learning a new voice in me. Even Jonathan Osorio said it's the new vernacular, just even the new words that Jesse Marsh uses, and in particular defensive form. And I went, yeah, but I'm getting antsy. Yeah, but I'm getting antsy. And then they go and do what they did at Copa America. Now we're starting to see them score more goals. This really does feel like a different team, doesn't it?
Yeah, John, you alluded to it the last time we were here when they played Panama, and I'll just add to that just the philosophy, right? You talk about the player pool, but there's a philosophy that if you play left wing, you know what you need to do. If you're playing up top, you know that you need to press and make sure that the center backs are looking at their shoes and scrambling for the ball. And you see this in the 60th minute, in the 30th minute, in the 95th. This is what this Canada team's doing. Like I said, now it's just about doing it at the right moments. And when all the chips are there and there's one game left, it's players like David, Davies, Larin, you stack the heart of the team stepping up and pushing this team forward. But yeah, Marsh has come in and he's it's not that he's just said, hey, we're going to play this way. He's earned the trust of the players. They're all looking to him now to push them forward. And I think that answered the call.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing when you're a national team coach, because you have limited time with these guys, is that you're clear and you're specific about what you want done. And that's, I can see what needs to be done. And I'm not in the room listening to him give the team talk. You know what's asked of these players. And for them to know that, for them to know their roles, for them to go out and execute that, it makes it so much simpler. And you're getting the most out of the guys. So I think that's a huge boost. You know, I'm excited for 25 with this group. I mean, you know, they kicked off the end of the year the way they did tonight, which was awesome. And I think that we're going into 25 with a chance to raise some trophies. And I think, wouldn't that be great? Wouldn't that be a great year for Canada Soccer to pick up a trophy, a big trophy, in big competitions?
Long time coming, man.
I don't want to get ahead of myself, but even now being able to go to the Final Four, they do qualify for Gold Cup. But here's the thing, you're right, because the USA has been very dominant. In the 3 editions of Nations League, they've won all 3. And this is a program, the American program, where you just don't even bat an eye when you discuss them winning Nations League, when you talk about them winning Gold Cup. These are the kinds of conversations Canada wants to be in. And I feel like they're at a point right now where they're saying, why not? Like, why not us? So there's that, even in that sit-down that we saw with Jonathan Osorio in the pregame, he said the belief.
Well,
right?
I mean, again, I don't think it's why not. I think you sense the confidence within the group. I mean, the confidence is there for them to go and do this now. I don't think it was really there in the past. It was sort of there. It was sort of like a false bravado a little bit in some way. And I think now they really feel it.
They're equipped, but you got to beat the best. To be the best, you got to beat the best.
Okay. Okay, it's coming. The match is gonna happen. We're gonna get something in March over here. So we're gonna look ahead a little bit. In the meantime, have a wonderful holiday. Actually, no, that's not true. I gotta see you. We've got some women's games to do, by the way, here. We are always busy here on OneSoccer. That's right, we just brought you the men, and then we're gonna have a couple games that the women are going to play. But a big night here with Canada defeating Suriname 3-0, moving on to the Final Four of Concacaf Nations League. On behalf of everyone here, I'm Andy Petrillo. Thanks for tuning in here to OneSoccer. We're gonna take you now midway through the first half. No goal scored between Honduras and Mexico. One of those teams will be joining Canada in California, March. See ya.
Gatorade, with electrolytes to help replenish what's lost in sweat, carbs to help fuel your working muscles, and fluids to help you hydrate. Scientifically formulated so you never stop competing.
I do this for my town, my time, my time. None of you people can tell me to stop.
Rehydrate, replenish, refuel. Gatorade.
Life's better with extra space. Space for family. Space for memories. Space for you. Try 4 weeks free. Access Storage, proud partner of Canada Soccer.
Who's driving?
Felix.
Susantia.
Their safety is important, especially when you can't be there. It matters to you. It matters to us.